Okay, hello. Gosh, there are actually folks here, it looks like. I've changed my setup a bit so that I don't have some weird second computer way over there that I go, whoa, what's going on live? I can actually see a little bit more live what's going on. Welcome, welcome. Say hi if you feel like it. If you want to lurk away. What we are going to do today, what I would like to do is continue with test-driven development of a project that I started last time. And hello, Donald23. And my goal is, what the project is I got survey results about where I asked about people's interest and desire and what they're looking for if I were to make an online course about iOS unit testing. So I would like to continue that. We got started. Hello, CypherSit. Welcome, welcome. Good to have you. And Libraner Santos. Welcome. Let's see. So that's what I want to do. It's going to be TDD, and yeah, let's just sort of dive in. Before we do, I want to mention something, and that is PubMob. PubMob.com. If you go there, you can get training. Hello, Borama apps. You can go to PubMob.com and get training from a number of folks in technical agile practices. For example, if we go look at the session leads here, there are a number of interesting folks here that, and I am proud and humbled to be part of their company. If you go to on tap, you can filter the courses that are available. For example, if we say, I want to do some Swift, that filters and you can see me and upcoming courses, also something, a refactoring exercise by Dustin, another thing by me. These are not free, but the difference between sort of what I'm doing now on Twitch and what you would be doing on PubMob if you were to join is that, why should you pay for it? Is that you would be doing the coding, not me. You would be the person coding in a group, taking turns, doing ensemble programming. And so, and then me or whoever the session lead is would be offering the coaching and the guidance. So that's the idea. Looks like we have a surprising number of people here. I wasn't expecting a whole lot. Last time I got lucky from a nice and very thoughtful tweet from Paul Hudson. So let's see. Let's go to our code. Let me give a little context. All I have now is a thing that splits rows, and I don't like the name of this. As I thought about this, I realized this row splitter, what's a row? A row is really an entry, a survey entry. And you'll see something here. We're going to start doing some stuff that will make it clear. But let me just start by running the tests. And I'll pass. My one test passes. Things I don't like about it. One, I realized that I went through the process of creating a type to hold a single method. That's overkill, isn't it? Like, I should just call the function on its own. And if I have enough functions to stick together, maybe a type will emerge. Then we can do it later. So let's start by sort of doing a little bit of refactoring here. What I want is to have a function out on its own. And this seems to compile just, at least I'm not getting any squigglies, but just for kicks, let's build it. Okay. And now what I can do is call that instead, maybe. I don't know if I can reach it because it has the same name. Maybe I have to give it a different name at first. I'll call it split2. So can I just call split2 on the survey and be done with that? Let's see if this passes. Okay. So I've now set up, I'm doing a move function refactoring. So this is successful. So we can now shift the test over and say split2, I think. Why doesn't it find it? Okay, it does find it. The red squiggly just hasn't maybe caught up yet. And so now this is unused. I should be able to get rid of it. Good. And so now I should be able to delete that. Good. Okay, so that's worth talking about for a little bit. Instead of just changing stuff, I changed a little bit in the production code and kept the tests the same. And then I kept the tests, and then I changed the test code, but kept the production code the same. And then I could delete anything that was unused. And now I can rename this. Split rows, split entries. Let's do that. I don't know why the red squiggly hasn't caught up there. Sometimes it happens. All right, so that's enough to commit. Let's see, move split method out to its own function. Okay. That really bothers me. Does anyone know why this happens? There are probably not many app code folks watching. But thank you for those who are watching. I'm gratified not to be talking to myself. All right, now, another problem that comes is that if we look at the actual data, well, here's the survey itself, and it's just a whole bunch of stuff, but I pulled it out into, is this the CSV? Yeah, this is the comma separated values. And you'll see that the first row is not an entry, it's the questions, it's the labels, right? So I really don't want those. I want to exclude those. So let me refine this test a bit more. What I want here is like labels, bunch of labels. I want to have the first row be labels, but I want the same output, you see. I want to ignore the labels row. It's formatted kind of funny. There we go. All right, now, um, so Borama, not a huge fan of JetBrains. Um, well, yeah, I know that I am in the clear minority among iOS folks that use Xcode by default. And so I've been using AppCode for, I want to say 10 years. Oh, so you can't help me with why the squigglies. Okay. Okay, I gotcha. Um, oh, did it straighten itself? It looks like it found its way. It just had to catch up, I guess. Anyway, so let me run this test. In test-driven development, it's very helpful to state your expectations because the process is that you have tests and production code, but sometimes you want the test to pass and sometimes you want it to fail. And sometimes there are surprises. So we call the shot to see if we're successful. I expect this will fail. Right? It returned the labels instead of wiping it out. So now let's return to our function. And I'm going to try, let's see if this works. It didn't like that. Something about it. I faced this last time where the return type I thought what would be an array of strings. Instead, it was like, no, it's a subsequence. So this time, let's try the same thing and let AppCode change the return type to return a slice of the array of subsequences. And let's see if that just works. It does just work. Haha. Without doing any other changes, I was able to get it to pass. I wasn't sure if it would even compile. So this should be don't include labels. All right. And now let's look at the name. Let's look at, this is really not rows anymore. This is entries. The test name should say that as well. So this is a bit of test refactoring. Okay. Now I am satisfied that we are dropping the labels and we're picking up the entries. I don't mind if it says row 1, row 2. Maybe I should make it entry 1, entry 2. I don't know. Not sure that it matters. Okay. Any questions so far? While I dribble juice down my chin. That was graceful. All right. Now these, so each entry, this is going to bug me. I am going to change this. I want my test code to communicate to me. And not just have rows, but have entries. Okay, that's better. So within each entry, actually, before I continue, this project is it's a command line tool. And as a command line tool, you can't have unit tests on a command line tool directly. What you do is you have a framework that has all of your important code and you test that, but then from main, you call that thing. So this, I think at this point, this just prints out the contents of everything. Let's find out. I'm going to switch over from testing to running. And yeah, we get a whole bunch of stuff. But you will see we start with, I mean, these aren't the entries. This is just, what we did last time to just get the string correct. So what I want to do now is call that thing split entries. Hello? Where's the completion? There it is. Why doesn't it like it? Because it's optional. How to do this? I mean, the cheap way to do this is to do that. Which will crash if survey is for some reason not there. And you know what? I'm okay with that. Hello, Garbob. Do you consider your microcommits key to testing? I normally wait until I have passing tests. I commit at every passing moment. I even commit when I have a failing test, but that's a checkpoint, which I will then amend because I don't want to have any fails in my history. So I'll make a failing test and I'll be like, yay, that fails the way I want it to. And then I'll commit that sort of as a temporary commit. And then as soon as I get it to pass, then it's like amend, test passes, and I keep going from there. And that is, for me, a really useful thing. The idea is like a safety ratchet where we want to move this massive, structure up. But we want to do so safely. And the way I think most people code is they lift the whole thing, and if something goes wrong, it all falls back. Instead, I want to ratchet, take small steps and ratchet so that at any point, if something goes wrong, then it's like revert, reset hard head, and I'm back to a clean state, but I've made progress and I haven't lost that progress. Let's see what we get if we print. Actually, let me assign this to a variable. And can I print the entries? I doubt it. Connection is broken? What connection is broken? Am I still live? Let's see what happens here. Well, that was not fun. Look at this. I get nothing. It looks like I get an empty array. I should get a whole bunch of entries. I'm not sure what's going on here. And this is where I need to lean on you. Perhaps you can guide me. We have an array slice. Hi, Apple Baumian. What's up, y'all? Is there something wrong with the stream? Is it hosed? Is it offline? Is it broken? I'll put it in the chat as well. Now it's working. Okay. All right. Well, hope that was temporary. Not sure what happened there. So weird. Okay. For some reason, if I print the string, I will get the string, the survey. Thanks, y'all, for letting me know. Hopefully it straightens out. I don't know what I can do about that. Maybe. No, I don't think so. All right, well, let's just blaze on. Let me know how the quality of the stream goes. If it gets any better or any worse. So here I get a whole string. I know it works. And so we don't need that. And yet, if I do this, I am getting nothing. An array slice of nothing. What's the deal? I doubt it's anything like that. Doesn't like that. Why? No. What's the entries? Zero. What the heck? Something is horrible with split entries. Why? Any ideas out there? So you see the type is kind of funky. Maybe I need to convert it from a slice of subsequences into an actual array of strings? Let me try that. Go back to test for a second. If I say this is going to be an array of strings, then how do I convert the old type into the new? Help? Anybody? I am not sure what's going on. Let's take this, pull out a variable. And how can we convert the subsequence or subsequences into an array of string? Does it return a sequence? Can you try map? Hello, Emilio. Thank you for your help. Let me try. Let's just try some things. Let's try. Hello, Jay Crossley. Like this? Array of, do I provide like, no, it did not like that. Initializer, requires the type. Okay, so if I say string subsequence, will that work? Change this to that. Oh, that seems to have helped. Don't need the generic tags. Let's see. Right you are. I should be able to inline this. Unfortunately, app code still does not have an inline. Let's just do this. Yeah, I think for now, I'm okay with a string of subsequences. We'll see later if that causes problems. Survey. Oh. So take an empty array and append the split. Okay, we're gonna try some things here. But I'm getting carried away. This passes. Before I start mucking around, I kind of want to see if this is actually like successful. And I'm still getting my count of 0. Why? Why? Oh, thank you, Jay Crossley, for your encouragement. That I've been reading my stuff. It's always good to hear. One never knows out in a vacuum of space, especially during a pandemic. I don't know what's going wrong. Oh, oh, I think I know what's going wrong. And maybe we don't need any of this. Here's the thing. Here's my separator. Yeah. Let me print the survey just so we can see what it looks like, and it's deceiving. But here's the clue. Look at that. This comma separated value thing has what is that? Windows style line endings, and it's separating by. I'm doing a separation by Unix style. Bleh. Oh, great. All right, let's reset. Back. Let's see. Reset hard. There it is. Go back. All right. So the problem is line endings. Do I want to change this? But if I do that, that messes up my tests. I think I would rather not. Oops. Try separating by different. Okay, so we want to separate by something just to see. We'll now do some spiking. I'm not sure why it's not catching that. You'd think it would leave the carriage return on the, it would split off the new line and it would leave the carriage return on the end. Who knows what's going on there? Let's try an experiment. All right, as Jay Crossley suggests, let's try learn. Separate by learn, and we will do oops. It's still empty. What the heck? Something is really weird here. All right. Whoops. Made you go away. Experiment. More experiments. Let me undo this. And let us open this in Sublime. I think there's a line ending thing here. Line endings. Okay, so it does say it's Windows line endings. And change it to Unix line endings. And what is it printing now? Oh, it's printing all the stuff. And it is leaving off the labels. Why? I don't know why. And I'm a little surprised that... Actually, did I try this? Let's try this just to try to learn. Let's see, where was line endings? Where was it? It's in view line endings. Let's change this again. So we're back to Windows line endings. And no. Okay. I have no idea what's going on. Except that it seems we need to have Mac style or Unix style line endings for this to work. Now, in this case, I'm okay with that because I don't want to change the test code. I'd rather keep it with like lines like I have it. And if this were a real like something to maintain out in the real world, more than a one shot, I suppose the solution would be to pre-process this file. Wow, though, that was really annoying. It didn't give us any clues about what's going on, and I don't know why this didn't work. Still don't know why. But that, wow. I didn't mean to spend the whole time working on this, but thank you. If I'd been alone without your help, it would have just been frustrating, and that's why this is sort of, it's not really mob programming or ensemble programming, but it is kind of. So I appreciate your input, your ideas. Try this, try that. Okay. All right. Well, I've got the survey checked into Git as well. So let's say change survey to Unix line endings. Ugh, that's gross. Okay, I need to run to the bathroom. I will be back in a minute. Okay, I'm eager to try this thing, except get the contrast right this time and make it big and keep the chat visible and so forth. So I now have these entries, which are really not entries. They're just comma separated strings. Each string has one per entry. And what I want to do, you can see the first row. The first row is like, where did which survey did the person take? My mailing list survey. It was all identical, but this let me see who came from my mailing list, who came from Twitter, etc. So it's like source, which I want to ignore. And then this next one is the level of interest. How interested are they was the question in if I were to make a course in buying a course. And here you see this is 1, which means really interested. And I think down at the bottom there was, yeah, a 5, which was like, nah, not really interested. And then a bunch of other things. Ah, this actually looks visible this time, and I hope this is working out for you. So what I'd like to do, so these are answers. What I want to do is I want to weight the answer by a Fibonacci scale. We're really interested. Actually, let's start with like not interested at all. I want to give a weight of 1. We'll skip the second one. We'll call it 2, 3, and 5, and 8. So for this, when somebody answers, like, I'm really interested in this, I really want to buy it, then I want to give their answers more weight than somebody who's maybe not interested in the course at all, or somewhat interested. You see how it goes. And so when somebody says, or when the comma separated values have 1 in there, I want to give it a weight of 8. That is our goal. And I think that would be enough to do for the rest of our time. I don't want to go on very long. I want to try to keep these short-ish so that folks can come, enjoy, and not feel like they're tied down to it. All right. Let me switch like there. I have an idea that you can see up to sort of where the end of the source code. So that works out. All right. Okie doke. Let's do this. Now we need some new tests. Let me go back here and run tests. And now what? That's the row splitter. Why Fibonacci scale? Apple. Baumian. Why not just 1 to 5? Um, um, because nature is in Fibonacci scales, and I want to give extra weight to somebody who is uh, really interested in my course, and um, and a fair amount of weight to somebody who's pretty interested, and very little weight to somebody who is not interested. So I want a curve because life is full of curves. It's just natural. It's also more fun as a programming problem, but I didn't set this up as a programming problem. That's actually what I want, how I want to evaluate the survey results. All right. By the way, we have another special appearance by my rubber ducks. Okay, so, and I realize now I didn't rename this to row. I still call this row splitter and row splitter tests. That's not right. Let me do some renaming here. Split entries and like that. Okay. All right. Let's make a new test suite. As we did before, I'm going to type X to narrow this list of things to say I want the an Xcode template, and I want my test template that doesn't have a bunch of junk in it. Let me get the target right, and this is going to be and are these entries? Weighted entries, weighted answers, weighted answer tests. We'll start with that. And the first thing I do is make sure that that test fails so that I know I've got it hooked up in the right place. Like if I accidentally got the target wrong, it wouldn't even get that far. It would say, whoa, XC test? There ain't no XC test in production. But so this is a fine place. And I'm not going to commit this. It's not, it doesn't feel like enough. But let's create a new test where comma separated row. Let's see. It's like row 2 with or interest row. With starting here or starting here. Interest row with 1 should yield a weight of 8. Should weight 8. Should give weight 8. I don't know. It doesn't have to be super nice. It just has to be clear. All right. Now, the row, interest row, it's a column. It's not a row. So if I have an entry that is the first one is source, which I'm going to ignore, but maybe I'll just put it in there. And then I give it a 1 and a bunch of answers. Who knows? And I want to say, I want to turn this into a weighted answer, or weighted and set of weighted answers, a weighted entry. I want to make a weighted entry from a comma separated entry, like that. Let's give it an explicit name. And that's enough for me to switch hats and say, okay, and I now have a failing test. It fails because it doesn't build. It doesn't build because there ain't no such thing as weighted entry. And that's enough for me to say, okay, we're going to, in TDD, what I really want to do is make sure to, I want to try to do one thing at a time, production code or test code, but not both, because living in the world of both will just get everything tangled and crossed and confused. And so essentially, if I have two hands, one for production code and one for test code, then I want to put one hand behind my back, one or the other. And so now we have a test case that fails. I want to create a new type in a new file called weighted entry. It belongs in the survey core. And what type should it have? I tend to start with struct by default. And there you see it has even provided us with the initializer. How nice of it. All right. So this now, once once life catches up, let me try to run tests and see if it does catch up. Oh, it didn't like that. Why didn't it like that? Do I have it in the right place? Is it going to the right thing? Yep. This is, sometimes I still want Xcode. When it comes to project fiddly stuff, I still want to see, just more familiar, I guess, with if I got the target right and so forth. Okay, it's in there. Not sure what's going on. Oh, that's what's going on. Bing, bing, bing. Okay. That's better. All right. So now let's continue. And I'll call this. Oh, this is one of the nicer things of ActCode is I just do Command Option V to extract a variable, or you can say Control T to refactor this and say introduce a variable, and you see it offers name suggestions. I hardly type at all when I'm flying through app code. I'll go with that for now. Maybe a little wordy, but it helps me. Since I have two entries here, a comma separated one and a weighted one, feels right. And what I want is to say the weighted entry weight should be, oh, no, that's right. This is all one string. Should be not a string, but a value of 8. And this to me looks like a good test. Now let's see what we can do with this. You know what? I want to see this test fail. So let's do this for starters. Now I have a brand new test. I'm calling the shot. I want to see, I predict that this will fail. And it will say 0 is not equal to 8. Bing. Okay, this verifies that my theory, basically it's kind of like the scientific method. I come up with a hypothesis. I make a way, my hypothesis is that this will fail for this reason. And then I run the experiment, and that tells me if my model of the world is correct. My mental model of the code is correct or not. And here we go. The cheapest, easiest way to get this test to pass is to say the weight is 8. And the test passes. And I'm ready now to commit. Actually, let me see if there's anything I want to change in the test name. Interest column with 1 should give weight. Should yield weight 8. Should give weight 8. I guess it's okay. Weighted answer tests, weighted entry tests. This should still pass. All right. So let's interest 1, weight 8. If you're new to test-driven development, this is probably setting you off right here, this line. That's like the hard-coded 8. And it's like, because that's not correct, right? Well, it's not incorrect. It's just not complete. It works for the case we have given. And test-driven development is providing, is you might say, the tests are not like QA tests. They're not, this isn't testing. Not like skilled QA folks know how to do, which if you've ever been around a skilled QA person, they're amazing. This is not what they do. Instead, it's saying, for this example, the code should do this. For this example with 1, the code should give 8. So let's now expand this and say with 2 should give weight 5. And that's easy to do like this and like that. I expect this to fail. And it fails in the way I expect. Great. Now we've got something more interesting. Now what do? Now I need to take the comma separated entry and split it by commas. It's not, yeah. And this is going I want to now introduce the variable, and it asks me how much, which part do I want to pull out into a variable. Now lets me choose the scope. So I'll say the whole thing. What do I call it? I have no idea. Sometimes you can start with a nonsense name. This is in an interesting, comes from an interesting idea about sort of the progression of naming from nonsense through super useful. And do I want the type to be there? It's a subsequence. I'm going to omit the type. When I omit the type, then the implied type is app code shows it as soon as it figures it out, and it shows that it is a subsequent array of subsequences, and that's, I don't know what they call it. I think they call it type hinting. I call it ghost type because, watch me move the cursor. It's not really there. It's not actually in the code, but it's a helpful hint for the coder who is reading. And let's take, let's come up with a better name. What did I call it here? Interest column. It's not a column, a row, it's a column. If we say column 1 should be the weight. Start with a nonsense name reminds me of the McDonald's suggestions. Start with something, then a better suggestion will come up. I don't know what those are. Does that mean like McDonald's, like going to eat American junk food McDonald's? Like if we go out together, this maybe a real life story or real life illustration. My wife asks me, what do I want to eat? And my answer is, I don't know. And then she'll say, what about Thai food? And if I'm not in the mood for Thai, I'll say, no, how about, and then I'll start to get better ideas. Maybe is that what you're talking about? Is it something like that? And maybe that's what the naming is sort of like. It's like, foo is good enough. It's not something we want, but it helps us get started. Yeah, when a group can't decide where to go, suggest, oh, I see, suggest McDonald's, not go to McDonald's and suggest something from the entry. Got it. Very cool. Yeah, this is like that. It's like, come up with a nonsense name. It'll lead me to a better name. And then life goes on. All right, so if I say, wait, then I should be able to get rid of that. It doesn't seem to like that. Is that because this is, oh, I need to give it a type, don't I? And now I probably need to coerce this and say, turn this into an integer or something like that. And maybe this fails, or maybe this throws. Which way? Okay, so it is optional. I can coalesce. Okay, here we go. Let's do this. except this isn't right. This is not the weight. This is, I'm doing this wrong. This is interest, sort of interest level. Interest level 1 to 5. I need to turn this into the proper weight. So how about let me start with nonsense numbers. Let's see if this will work. Emilio asks, would you write a test that covers the case where the interest is nil and the default value is used instead? That's a good question. The answer is I expect it not to happen. Like I don't ever expect it to be there. And so I suppose in a way the maybe that's a better thing, except folks have a real aversion to force unwrapping some an optional, right? Because like that's gonna crash. And so habit says write code like this. Hey, Janos or Janos, good evening to you wherever you are. I hope to wrap up pretty soon here. So I'm not going to keep you up too late. So back to the question, like, you know, what about this? And, it's a good question. I feel like I don't need necessarily to test that if I don't expect it to happen. Or do I want it to crash? Maybe crashing is the right thing. And this is a design question. Maybe if we get something horribly wrong, it should crash, and it shouldn't just fall back to a default. Yeah, yeah. And so it's like, then do you want a failable initializer? No, it's totally fine, Emilio. This is why we're here. This to go over interesting stuff like this. You sort of have to decide when do you want something to crash. I work with somebody who's famous on our team for his answer to almost everything is just crash. Let me go a little further here, and let's see if this works, because I've been coding now. I mean, yeah, we got pulled aside and I've been talking about stuff, but I've been in production code for a while now, and I haven't run tests in, down here it says 10 minutes ago. Woo, that makes me uncomfortable. That's too long, right? Your tolerance for how long you can go without running tests will decrease as your testing gets better. And it should. Will this pass or will this fail or will this crash? 0 is not equal to 5. Okay, 0 is not equal to 8 and 0 is not equal to 5. Oh, I done messed up and I don't know why or how. And I think it's because I got these backwards. So there, my prediction, I hit passes. My prediction sort of was, I don't know. Will it work? I hope it works. That is, it wasn't a strong conviction that I thought this is definitely going to pass, but I still had to say to myself, I want it to pass, but it didn't. The failure was interesting. It revealed good stuff. Yeah, so Garbob notes that another option is to log stuff. Maybe you don't want to crash, but you do want to know when something unexpected happens and you want to log it. That's valid too. In my case, we'll keep it as is because this is not something I'm going to ship. It's actually just something I want to run once. And so now we have interest level 2 becomes weight 5, which is where we were here. All right, we're almost done. Now I want to actually do the rest of these. And we face a problem that XCTest doesn't provide out of the box a solution for parameterized tests. What I really want is a test that tries different things, like uses a different input and it says, for this, give me 5. For this, give me 8. And there's this is my ongoing complaint with XCTest, is that parameterized tests in unit testing frameworks is like, it's over 10 years old, like maybe older still. And I wish we could have the nice things. I could make some complicated code that does it, maybe inserts the number in here and so forth. And maybe that's what I want to do. But for now, I'm going to be lazy. I just want to get there fast. So 3 should give weight of 3. And I'm just going to duplicate code and not worry about it for now. And I expect this to fail because I haven't provided the right thing. Now I expect it to pass. Cool. Couple more, and then we'll wrap it up. What's next? 4 becomes 2. Expect this to fail. I expect this to pass. Last one. Interest level of 5 should give a weight of 1. I expect this to fail. And now we make it pass. Cool. All right. The last step of TDD is refactoring. And I'm not sure that there's anything here to refactor yet. These publics and so forth probably don't need to be there. Those, remember, those were generated for me. But I'm not sure I care. I'm more concerned with these. I do kind of want to write something that does parameterized tests, but you know what? I think we'll leave that for next time. I'm about talked out here. I don't know how folks stream for hours. It's easier in pairing and mobbing because you're not talking all the time. Pairing and ensemble programming, I mean. So I may return to this. We'll see. We'll see. Is there a real point to use setup and teardown methods in tests? It is when I find it helpful. There is an author of a testing book, and name escapes me. Hang on. Roy Osheroff. Let me switch out to here. I think we're done. So Roy Osherov? 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 I honestly don't know how to pronounce his name. I've never met him. This book is really good. The Art of Unit Testing. Do not be put off by the fact that it says with examples in C#, because why can't you learn from reading examples in a different language? As long as it's not like completely unintelligible, you should be able to read. It doesn't mean we can write C# off the bat, but reading we can manage, because the point is not the code, it's the ideas, right? And he actually argues against setup and teardown. He says, like, he doesn't like it. I actually prefer to use setup and teardown myself when there's something that I want to use across tests. But in this case, the test is of the initializer. So I can't like make a weighted entry. But maybe I can make, I don't want to get too complicated, and yet this does seem really wordy. Okay. Stick around. Stick around. Maybe we should do this right now. It's like I really want at least to make it less repetitive. You know what? We'll do this next time. Okay. Sorry for the back and forth there, but thank you for sticking around. Things that we covered this time were, well, we got tangled up with line endings. Still don't know why it choked on Windows line endings. And even though I put in /r /n, it didn't split by that. Something going on there that I'm not going to figure out. We just blazed ahead, changed the line endings to Unix endings, and we're good. So that took a lot of time. And then we got into some actual TDD. Oh, we did some refactoring and some cleaning up. And I talked about the importance of trying to do test code or production code, change one or the other, right? One hand behind my back or the other hand behind my back. That is really one of the essences of test-driven development. And the purpose is so that we can think better, so that we can reason better, and to move in small steps. I will, let's see. I will remind you of PubMob.com. Oh, you can't see that. Silly me. PubMob.com. Come check it out. And otherwise, let's see. I will post this on YouTube, and if you're seeing this on YouTube, give it a like, subscribe, hit the bell so that you get notifications. If you're on Twitch, follow me there. And thanks for joining. I'm going to wrap this up now, but something I've never done on Twitch is to see if there's somebody that we can raid. I've never been in a raid, but I don't see any of my people who are interested. I don't have many online, so not at this time. All right. Next week is actually a iOS happy hour. I probably won't be there, but I don't want to conflict with that. I don't want people to feel like, oh, I have to choose between this and happy hour. Go to happy hour. And so we'll try to come back 2 weeks from now. All right.